Welcome to another edition of Candid Convos with Evette. I am Evette Rawls, founder and creator of Teacher Coach Series. Thank you and welcome back. So I shared with you an introduction video of the new series that we will be starting, and I would like to share that this is not the all be all. I'm just sharing some things that have worked with me as I enter week 5 of virtual learning. And what is that? What am I going to be sharing? I'm going to be sharing virtual teaching tips, the survival guide. Again, you'll find so many other resources out there. You'll find so many other videos out there of people sharing what has worked for them, or just giving advice of what could make your learning experience and teaching experience much better during this time that we're all navigating through this process of virtual teaching, remote, hybrid, face-to-face, all these different ways that we're adapting to in the year 2020-21. So some of the things that I wanted to share during this series is things that I have seen to be successful in these first 4 weeks. I'm entering into my 5th week today. Today's Monday. And I found out just through trial and error and by watching YouTube videos and navigating through some things that I've used in the past and implementing it into what I'm doing daily to be very successful. So I want to share those tips with you. Today I'm going to be sharing 2 tips. And I don't have any videos or anything that I'll be adding in. Yes, I could go and add some images and some clips and some actual footage of teaching, and I may do that throughout the series, but I'm not going to be doing that during this video. The video that you'll see today, I'm just going to really just be talking to you and telling you the impact of what has been happening and some of the testimonials from the guys. I teach on an all-boys team, 7th grade, middle school. This is my 21st year teaching, so of course, me having a strong foundation of what I do and how I do it, teaching ELA, has been, I guess you would call sort of like a saving grace during this process. One of the other things that I want to talk about is how I'm very candid. It's not going to be this is not going to be in a structured way. I'm just going to give you the information. You take it, you can learn it, you can adjust it. Also, use it as one of those things that, hey, if it works now, it may work for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that, it may not work for you. Have that flexibility and learn how to adjust. So the first tip that I want to share with you is timers. So I remember when we first had to learn our LMS, which we're using Canvas, which a lot of teachers are using Canvas, but there's so many other platforms that you can use as your hub or your location that your students come to together to gather their work. Google Classroom, so many other, and I don't want to name all of them, but Canvas is what we're using, okay, in our district, and it is a mandate that we use this as our LMS, Learning Management System, and it's been successful for me. Now, I've used Canvas before it became part of this remote learning transition, and so I had a little bit of understanding about Canvas, but I can't say that I was 100% confident in using this platform. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and throughout the district training, they sent out a lot of videos. They also created a hub that we could use and download. I think I'm saying it right. If I'm not, forgive me for not thinking of the word right now. But we were able to take that hub, or that shell, that sandbox that they had us create and that they created, and actually upload it to our classroom that we use. So we had some type of like foundation, some type of shell that we can use. I will tell you that originally I was at a place like, what are we using? We found that out like maybe 2 days before. 2 days before school starts. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to use? So I began looking up different ways to make Canvas work for me. And so one of the ways that I made Canvas work for me is I went back and looked at my previous year PowerPoint. And so that's the first tip. Whatever you're doing right now, make sure, and I say PowerPoint, but you can have Google Slides, and mine is actually Google Slides. I just use that old terminology, PowerPoint. My age. But I use Google Slides every day, and so that was the visual piece, and also like a accountability piece for me and the students throughout the years of teaching and learning. And so I was able to go back to that and look at my framework, and although it was very fluid, because I didn't know what this year would look like, what the demands were going to be, how we were going to start the year, I was able to use that as a guide to move forward in what I will be doing for this school year. So So I immediately looked at that, and one of the things that stuck out the most for me was how I always chunked the lesson, and I taught whatever I was teaching in 3 different ways. And so that was like my saving grace. That foundation, that piece, I knew what it already looked like working with kids. I knew that I didn't want to just like have like a dumping pile of all the information that I would be teaching this year on Canvas. I knew that I needed to make sure that the transitions move slowly. So I used the Google Slides as a piece that I knew that I would be able to use in Zoom, right? Because we use Zoom as our way of meeting, and then we would go through Canvas and all these different things. So with that, I kept my timers. Timers are amazing. But first, I knew that I wanted to be readily available for my students, and also to give them sometimes. I knew I would have kids that would come in early, kids that would come in late. So I created a 10-minute timer inside of my Google Slides, and I allowed that to play for 10 minutes, 5 minutes before class started, and then 5 minutes into class, to give that time for the students that came early, and to give that time for the students that may have needed some time because they were a little tardy. So with that, on top of that slide, I have whatever activity I want them to work on. That could be anything from completing the attendance link, which that's one of my tips, but not in this video, to having them go to Canvas and do a little perusing as they are to see what the weekly goals are, which is another tip that I'll be talking about in video 3. Okay, so the timer has been saving grace. I allow them to chat. I don't block the chat. I do mute them though. And I do the muting because of all the talking that could take place and all of the noise, and you just never know the circumstances of what's happening. So I do mute all when they first come into the classroom, and then I unmute them as we go into our lessons. So the timer is my tip for this video, video 1, and Google Slides, to have your slides readily available with your lessons. And of course, we use the sharing the screen feature throughout our lessons, and also we're able to go into Canvas, show them how to get to their work and their assignments, and through every transition, if it's something I want them to work on, and I say, okay, for 5 minutes I want you to complete this, I put that timer on the screen, they work on it. I am not at a place that I'm using one of the systems that I'm able to look at the computers like Dino or Crostini. If you don't know what those systems are, I will definitely be talking about that again in video 3, where I'm here but I'm able to see what's on their screens. And it's been a success using that as well. But I have them do these assignments, and it's been amazing. The kids know when they come back, they was like, oh, I need 1 more minute, or oh, okay, I got 5 minutes. I can see they're talking, they're chatting. And then now, being that we're in week 5, the students are coming on now, and they will say if I don't have a link up there, because on 9/11 I didn't do a link at the top. I actually said, I want you to sit there and I want you to calm your thoughts, because I needed them to be in a certain headspace for the things that I was going to be discussing with them in the video footage that we will be watching together as a class. And they immediately came and said, well, where's our link? What are we doing today? Because they had already got into the mode and already into the expectation. The expectation was already set for what they would be doing every single day. So that tip again is use timers, use Google Slides. It is going to be heaven. If you are using them and you're just using Google Slides, add a timer in there for some of your transition. If you're not using a timer, or you are using a timer, you can comment below and tell me how you're using timers, how it's working. If it's some challenges that you're facing, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's see what we can add to make all of our learning and teaching experiences better. So that's my tip for today. Thank you. I hope you subscribe so you can see when I post video 2, and also that you like this video and share this video with any teacher friends. Until next time, have a good evening. Bye-bye.